Hey everybody, I'm GT. I'm centre fielder for Birmingham Metalheads. I'm also responsible for the creative direction at Birmingham Baseball Club. So I previously played American football in the UK for 9 years. 2020, like pretty much everything else, the American football season was cancelled. Knowing that Birmingham Baseball Club was like fairly close to where I lived at the time, I reached out in the hope that they were still doing something. They were. I ended up playing in a few games at the tail end of that 2020 season. And their web presence at the time was pretty sparse. So I offered to put together a website, first of all. And later the next year, I took on responsibility for the club's social media too. I think, like, in short, the best way to describe that is being responsible for the whole look and feel of the club off the field, but also partially on it too. So we have a way that we want the public to see our club, and that needs to really accurately reflect the strongly held values that we have. And creative direction is about portraying those values through images, the colours we use, tone of voice, our identity. Wherever somebody sees Birmingham baseball stuff, we want people to understand that who we are and what we stand for when they see something that's related to Birmingham Baseball Club. Really important, because I think when you can start thinking about how do we portray that publicly, it means you probably really strongly hold those values privately as well. If you can say, this is what we want, this is where we are, this is what we need to do to get to where we want to be, these are the things that are important to us, on Facebook or Instagram, for example, then you've probably already been living those values for a long time anyway. You just need to get them out there. I think the obvious one is that it's increased our reach. Branding can only do so much, but I think we've sort of lost count of the amount of people that have joined now that said, our socials or our website, whatever they saw, made them feel assured that they were reaching out to a proper club that had everything in order, that somebody responded to them quickly, the social media was up to date, that we still existed, we were proper, we were organised. Aside from that though, it's also helped recruit players from other teams as well. One thing I think that we do well at Birmingham is give an honest and accurate depiction of what life at the club is like, and as I said, what we stand for, and we're really transparent about what we want to achieve. And a few players have seen that and felt it aligned a little bit more closely to what they wanted out of baseball, and they've made the move. It's also not just external either. Branding is helping us reinforce what's important to us inside the club. So this year we've got a new strapline, which is "We are what we do." And not only does it speak to people outside the club, it's a constant reminder to everybody already there that we have to put our money where our mouths are to achieve what we said we wanted. It's not enough to say that we're something or that we want to be something. It only matters when we do it. So this is a really tough question. I think stuff like our end of year takes on Spotify rap thing are always really well received. We've managed to get it out on the same day in the past few years as well. I personally think some of the most valuable stuff we've done is the longer form interviews with members of the club. So Saeed Bayan, who runs our youth team, and John Craig, our stats guy. I think if I had to pick a favourite though, it would be the 2 seasons of rookie stories that we filmed. And these are basically video diaries we filmed with new joiners. We're given the chance to just talk honestly about their first year at the club. No scripts, just an opportunity to tell their stories. And a pretty big group of players at the club that have said watching those videos reassured them that coming to Birmingham or just taking the first step in baseball was the right choice for them. So something that I will always say is that the way you appear to the public should be an accurate reflection of how your club actually operates. If you're promising the world to people on Instagram or Facebook and they turn up and find that the reality doesn't match that, they'll be really disappointed. You can lose their trust. At Birmingham, we strive to be very transparent and straightforward. We're happy to tell people that we want to be the best club in the country. We think we know what that takes. I'm of the belief that if you as a club don't want people to know something that you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. and it's like a reminder that your brand is absolutely everything you do, not just a post that you make on social media. When you think of it like that, you can start building a brand that people want to be involved with. If you think of like the biggest and best brands in the world, they don't ask people to buy their product. Or, they create an environment that people want to be a part of. Apple don't put out adverts begging people to buy an iPhone. Real Madrid don't post on Facebook begging people to become a fan. They've built brands out of the values that they stand for, and people want to become a part of that. I think within that, considering just that every single aspect of every part of your brand matters, whether you mean it to or not. It might sound really in microscopic detail, but your choice of the photos that you use, the fonts that you use, the music that you use, even how you act on game days, it might be something that you don't think about as being part of a brand, but you can't control how somebody seeing that might perceive it. So every choice you make should back up your brand. It should have a good reason. And I think to wrap that up, just thinking about the purpose of what you're doing. The reality is, that nobody cares about stuff like what your first baseman's favourite dinner is, because the reality is most people don't have a clue who any of us are. Stuff like that, it doesn't say anything about your members or what your club is about, what's important to them. But for example, like they might care more about how your club has changed that first baseman's life instead. I think generally, like, sports are perhaps way more important, emotional, transformative than the average baseball club acts like they are. So I think, like anything else in sports, like branding and marketing, you get out what you put in.